when we talk about the business and describing it, this is where we really write our product or service that I'm planning to provide. There is particular information that we need to talk about in this section, right? Like you've told me earlier that it's what I'm selling, what problem that I'm trying to solve. Would you maybe be able to share a sample business description or tell us about a sample business to kind of
Okay,
bring some life to this idea?
sure. If you go to the Business Development Bank of Canada, they have a very good package going to show you as a template and going to show you the example they have. Is very clear and easy to follow steps. And as we talked about it before, there is no one way to do the business plan. All different different kind of the business plan, different templates. It's okay as long as you can answer those questions. We just mentioned it in those 6-7 sections of the business plan. It should be fine. So let's talk about there is a one sample. The name is Doors to the World Company. It's a business plan for the new business. So if you go through that template, you can see the first part is the executive summary. We're not going to talk about that part here right now. We're talking about the business overview. Business overview is a name they use it for as a business description here. So when you look at that, you can see they talk about the mission, vision, and value. They're talking about the industry overview. They're talking about the technology they're using. They're talking about the government regulation and how that's going to somehow help the business to grow. They're going to talk about the competition in the market and the product and service they provide to the target market. In less than 4 or 5 pages, I believe, it's less than 4 pages. In this business plan, the owner describe everything is necessary for you to know about the business idea and how they're going to develop the product, for whom they're going to develop that product, and who are like big players in the market. So it's going to like a snapshot of everything you need to know about the business in this section. As you can see, it's only 4 pages, but clearly address everything starting from the inner side of your business, which is your mission and vision, and then go after people even are in the market as other players. Yes.
Okay, so that is all available through the Business Development Bank of Canada's website. One thing I just wanted to double check with you is that I've read that when people are writing a business plan, it should just be about one product or service, right? Like not many. And we know from starting a business we know that when people start a business, often they have so many ideas and it's really exciting and you start thinking of one possibility and another possibility and so on. But just to confirm, focusing on just one product or service, right?
Okay, that's a good question. Let me give you an example. It's much easier to understand it with the example. Okay, let's say you're going to start a new business. We call that 5-star business, okay?
Okay.
5-star shop. And you're going to provide some service to some offices in Vancouver area. And what you're going to provide is you're going to provide, for example, paper, ink, office supplies for small businesses in Vancouver. If you look at this example, you may say, okay, this guy provides 4 or 5 different products. No, the answer is no. This guy provides one service, and that service is providing office supplies to small businesses, maybe who are short in time, they want to have it as fast as possible. So we call it one service or one product, okay? You maybe have a different parts, maybe have a selling different items, but that's a different from the business idea perspective. So we're talking about the service here or one product here. So in this example, the service is providing office supplies, different kinds, in fast as possible to small businesses.
Got it. Okay. So we want to kind of stay within even if there may be multiple products or services, we want to stay within the same kind of sector,
Exactly.
right? So we're
Yes.
not maybe selling food and also beauty products.
Exactly, because then we're
Okay.
talking about two different maybe target markets here. It's not really easy to address it in one business plan.
Okay. All right. That sounds good. Now, are there classic difficulties that everybody has when they write this part of their business plan? And if there are classic difficulties, what are they?
Okay, if you look at this sample, you can see there are some of the information here are just basic facts. When talking about the target markets, when you have to do the research, you're going to learn the facts about your target market. When you're talking about the government regulations, again, these are facts about your business. Industry overview are facts. These are really easy part of this section because all you have to do is learn it and do the research as much as possible to learn about it. The most important part, maybe not difficult, the challenging part is something come from inner of your business idea. Talking about the mission, vision, values. These are the things you have to define it. These are the things that are unique to you. These are the things you're going to make you different than others. So if you want to mention just one thing as like a most challenging part in business overview is basically defining the mission, vision, and values, because that's going to give you exactly a location you will stand to grow or start a business. So that's the most important part to answer.
I'm going to briefly interrupt the talk that Van Dodd and I are having so that we can chat briefly about mission statements and how to write one. Now, there are 4 questions that you need to answer to construct your mission statement. What do we do? How do we do it? Whom do we do it for? And what value are we bringing? So when you look at it this way, it's not so hard at all. Let's look at an example. This is for a cupcake company. And let's see how the cupcake company could answer the question. What do we do? Happy Cupcakes creates specialty baked goods. How do we do it? By using unique, no sugar recipes handed down in our family. Whom do we do it for? For anyone with diabetes or who wants to reduce sugar intake but still enjoy sweets. And finally, what value are we bringing? Well, we want to allow people with sugar restrictions to enjoy dessert treats. And that, all together, would make a mission statement for our fictional cupcake company. There are plenty of interesting mission statements out there, and you can normally find them on companies' websites. Zoom's is short and sweet, but really to the point. Zoom's mission statement is to make video communications frictionless. Marble Slabs is longer, but covers a lot of interesting territory. So let's look at it. Marble Slab's mission is to serve happiness to our customers every day by providing them with the highest level of customer service and finest quality of ice cream, personalized for each customer while creating a rewarding workplace that encourages creativity, enthusiasm, personal growth, and financial success. Waves Coffee has an interesting mission statement as well: to connect with great people who can share our passion and ideals so that together we can create great neighborhood coffee houses that enrich the lives and communities of everyone we meet. And let's look at Nike's as well: to bring inspiration and innovation to every athlete in the world. And athlete has an asterisk, and to qualify the asterisk, Nike mentions that if you have a body, you are an athlete. And finally, ISS of BC's. Our mission statement is helping immigrants build a future in Canada. Well, this has been a little tour through how to make a mission statement and showing you a sample of how you could build one for a fictional cupcake company, and then looking at some role model mission statements from other companies out there in the economy. I hope that this helps you to build your own mission statement for your company. And now let's head back to the conversation with Van Dad.
We have taken a nice comprehensive look at business description, and our Business Development Bank of Canada example has helped us, and anyone can go and have a look at that and use it. So let's wrap up business description and let's move on to the next section. Moving ahead now to the market analysis section. One of the things that I think is a big issue is getting information. Now, if you're somebody who's lived in Canada for his or her whole life, or his or her, most of your adult life, it's a lot easier. But for people who are newcomers to Canada, how do they analyze the market when it's really so hard to get the information that you need?
The good thing is in Canada, we have a very, very good public sources. And when you learn about that, it's much easier to do the research about marketing or about anything, to be honest. So one of the services I usually use and recommended you to go and have a look and play with it because it's fun, is Statistics Canada. I know numbers are maybe not fun to many people, but the Statistics Canada has a very nice mapping system. It's going to give you like a access to the map. That map is like a BC map or any map of part of the Canada, and you can go and zoom in and going to give you different options to, for example, learn about how many people are live in that neighborhood, in that street area, or how much money they make, also how old are their home, or how many children they may have. Things like that going to help you to understand about your possible target market. For example, from the location perspective, to see how many people, for example, in Richmond area are making $100,000 a year, and how many of those are people are own the home. And that maybe is a good market for your product, because you're looking for the people around more than $100,000 a year and who has a home, or that's a good target market for you. That's going to help you to have a very, very clear understanding about the overall economic in Canada and the neighborhoods and cities in detail. So that's very, very good place to start your research. Industry Canada is another good example. It's going to give you better understanding about different industry in Canada. So the ratios, what is important, what kind of the climate that industry has in Canada. So sources are there. All you have to do is starting research, and you're going to learn as much as possible, because you have to do it, because otherwise that's the thing with the business idea. You want to develop it, you want to make a blueprint, you want to make a map, and you want to follow that to make that business happen. So let's start with the research, learn as much as possible. Overall, I can say it's not that much hard. You have to just know where to look at. And from those to Statistics Canada, Industry Canada, you can go to the next step by yourself. It's not that much hard, believe me.
I think there are also like so many supportive organizations too that can kind of point you in the right direction too when it comes to research. like at ISS of BC, we have really great partners with like the Vancouver Public Library, for instance, and they have regular workshops about doing research and writing business plans. So they're really helpful too. Or our partnerships with different financial institutions, right? Like you mentioned the Business Development Bank of Canada earlier. And we also work quite closely with Vancity, with the Royal Bank, and with several other banks too. And they have, people who are able to kind of point you in the right direction for research and resources. And I haven't even talked about our other great partners, Small Business BC or Futurepreneur or Women's Enterprise Center. They are all really great at, showing us where we can get resources to help out with our business research. So even if you're a newcomer to Canada, the most important thing I think that people need to remember is to ask for help. Right? To ask your question to someone who works in one of these agencies or a similar agency, because they're there to help you, right? And say, Vandad, that's your job, right? As business
exactly. That's
right?
true. So we have a very great partners for sure, and we have a very good, knowledgeable, and kind staff here too. My colleagues are very great. We have a different people in different area. We have a very knowledgeable and experienced case managers, business advisors, and we are here to help you with all of those things. Basically, we are here for helping you to develop your business idea, to the plan, to go after it and grow as fast as possible and soon as possible. And this is our service for your need.
Yeah. And we also, we have the Ignite program and the Spark program too, that really focus on helping you to research, among other things.
True.
Now, you talked about Stats Can and you talked about Industry Canada. Those are all accessible from the internet, right? Now, the research that new business or people who want to start a business will get, a lot of it will come from the internet. But is that enough? Or do prospective business owners also need to get that kind of cutting edge information just by talking with other people?
Okay, that's a very important point actually. There is nothing more dangerous in new business than the owner or somebody with the idea who just sit in the home, in the room, and do the research online through the internet or maybe reading books, and then think she knows everything about the market. And that could be very costly for the business, because yes, you can learn as much as possible from the internet. You can learn about the market by reading the books or reports. But the real customers are people. You have to go and talk to them. You have to find them, because you have to find them anyway. You have to find them to sell your service. You have to find them anyway to sell your product. But when you find them, you're going to talk to them in person. You're going to listen to them. You're going to understand what they need or why they need it or how they want that need to be answered or that problem is solved. Because some of them have a specific, maybe steps to want to be followed before solving those problems. They're looking for different kind of maybe solutions. So it's not good to think you know about your clients before talking to them. Okay, you can learn from internet. You have to use internet. You have to read as much as possible to learn about the clients or potential target market. But talk to them. There is nothing more valuable or more. It's priceless. You're going to learn from them what they need, and you're going to develop a service or product to answer their need and problem. So there is nothing better than source than your clients or potential clients to learn about them.
It seems like too, when we talk to people, when we're out networking, out engaging with other people, that we see like lived experience of larger social trends, right? Like if we have lunch with someone and they don't want to eat a particular type of food, that might be the beginning of a trend that we learn about, right? Maybe about vegetarianism, or people who are on keto diets or paleo diets, or whatever, right? How much should new business owners or prospective business owners understand about economic and social trends?
More is better. Basically, yes. Remember, there is one important point. The point is, many of us are newcomers to Canada, or we were newcomers to Canada at one point of our life. We came from different cultures or different countries. Personally, I came from Iran. So I'm Iranian. I came here 15 years ago. Yes, 15 years ago, I didn't know about Canadian culture that much. I know right now for sure. Yes, I did. I did my research. I did read about Canadian culture online. I did read a book about it. But talking to them, walking the street, you can understand we don't have a Canadian culture is basically like a mosaic of different cultures. Okay, we have a different backgrounds. So it's even business is different. In Iran, when if I wanted writing a business plan, or I want to talk about the trends in the economic part or social part of my life, I know about Iranian culture. We're talking about one culture, maybe different groups of the people, different cities, but overall, it was much easier to address than Canada. In Canada, we have a different backgrounds, so it's very important to understand where is your market, what type of people are there, so what they are expected. Maybe to give you an example, maybe yellow means something good in one culture but doesn't mean in another culture. These are things you have to think about it. Even a name could be a very good word or meaningful in your own language, but maybe doesn't have the same meaning, or maybe silly meaning, which maybe damage your brand later when you're growing in another culture. So learn as much as possible and talk to different people from different groups and backgrounds. You're going to make something, and it's better to have a better understanding from perspective of the environment to see where you're building that thing. So look at it from this perspective. See it, okay, this is the environment you're going to make this business happen. So learn about that environment.
What a great description for understanding the trends, right? Learning about the environment. Thank you. All right, now, do you have a sample market analysis from one of our partners that we can review?
Yes, I prefer to keep using the sample from Developing Bank of Canada, because I want to show you how the structure could be different, but how you can find those 5 factors in any business plan.
Okay.
So if you look at this template, I believe in page 6 till page 9 we have a business overview, which is going to describe business description basically. And from page 10 to page 12, it's going to talk about sales and marketing. But overall, these two business overview and sales and marketing section going to answer the question about marketing analyzing of the business plan. This section talk about the customers. This section talk about the pricing and distribution. So how you're going to, what price is the best price for the marketing? Because you want to know about your target market, to how price sensitive they are. So these are things you need to learn as much as possible about your customers. You need to know about their behavior, what they want. That's why we do the customer analyzing part of the business plan. We need to understand what the other players in the market do. So that's another thing we do in the marketing plan. In the marketing analyzing part of the business plan, we're going to learn about the other players, what they do, and using their information to improve our own business plan. So this section going to talk about basically anything you need to know about your target market. So they call it sales and marketing section of this template.
Now, this seems really deep. And it seems like you could get like so deep in here that it's taking a really long time. What is a good amount of time to spend on this? How long is an average prospective business owner going to spend writing and researching this part of the business plan?
When it comes to the business administration's world, so always the right answer is most of the time is it depends.
I'm going to give you a quota on how many times you're allowed to use it.
Yes,
Depends.
that's the thing. So it depends, but and more is better for sure, because I don't know, we mentioned like the previous section, we talk about the environment, so you need to know as much as possible about the environment. So again, here we need to do the market analysis as much as possible. Do it till you feel you're comfortable with your market. Okay, get to the point you feel remember, don't never think, because that's one of the biggest mistake I usually face my clients they have, is they thought they know the customer for 100%. They know everything about the customers. Okay, it's really tough to get to the point you know 100% about the customers. But learn as much as possible and get to the point you know enough about your market, about your target market, enough to explain your product and service and address their needs or problems. So when you get to the point you think you're comfortable with those information you have or talking about your product or services, I say you are in the good place. It doesn't mean you have to stop. No, basically it means you're good. So keep going, you've done a good job, but it's good for starting writing your business plan.
Okay. So when you feel like you know them pretty well, you're in a good place. That is a good description. So much clearer than it depends. So thank you for extending
I
that.
did my best, but
Okay, thank you, Vandad. All right. I think we've covered market analysis very well. So let's move on to the next section, okay? In the next section, we're going to talk about organization management. If I imagine other people like me writing a business plan, this part doesn't feel interesting because I think I'm the founder, I'm the boss, right? What else is there to know?
yes, let's say it's just one person show, okay, and you're in charge of everything. You're going to do the operation, you're going to do the sales, everything. Okay, that's correct. But we're talking about tasks and rules here. We're not talking even about the individual right now. So we're talking about organization management. We're talking about how you're going to manage your business. Maybe you're the person in charge of everything, but you have to write in down what those are, everything are. For if you example, you have to write out about the sales. Who's going to be in charge of sales? If you put it there, I'm in charge of the sales. I'm in charge of the operation. I'm in charge of the delivery. Anything. And because the thing is, you're going to writing down all of those rules because those rules are going to be necessary for your business to run. And over time, you're going to hire or make a bigger team or maybe join the partnership with other people. And you're going to use and rewrite this section to define the rules of others. Where you maybe going to hire one sales representative. Okay, then you have to rewrite your business plan because now you have somebody else who's going to be in charge of the sales. And even maybe you can define more tasks for that role because now you have one person focus on one part of your business and maybe easier for you to grow that part. So that's why we're going to keep this section to understanding what we're doing right now and how we do it, basically, and who's in charge. And after we have like a bigger team, we can just go and rewrite it again. And operation management sometimes is organization management and operation management are they overlap several times, because we're talking about the people who are going to run your business. Yes, administration is maybe different, but if you have a team for the developing part, you have a team for the operation part, these are people going to address here. So basically, we're going to somehow address operation part of your business plan in this section too, because we're going to talk, for example, John is in charge of the making a small pen, and then I'm going to sell that pen. So now we have to talk about the operation part of business plan here too. So remember, regardless of how many people in your team, if it's solo or 10 or 20 or 19, doesn't matter. You have a people in your organization. You have maybe one person, but you have a rules. You have a different task you have to do. So maybe you with different hats, but that's okay. Writing down, because sooner or later you're going to have a bigger team and going much easier for you to rewrite it and allocate the rules to other players in your organization.
So from listening to what you've said, I have two takeaways. One is that this section is about looking into the future a little bit when things are growing, right? And kind of projecting how it's going to look when there's more work than just at the beginning for the founder. And the second takeaway I'm getting from what you've said is to like think of it as the work or the tasks that need to be done, right? Even if maybe the founder does them all at the beginning, as things grow, there will be other things that need to be done, or you know, the size of those tasks might be too much for that founder. Have I understood those two takeaways correctly?
Yes, correctly and clear. Yes.
Okay, that's awesome. Most people, probably most of the people among our client group who are watching this are probably going to start as either sole proprietorships or partnerships. And what do they need to consider when they're setting up the organization management?
The most important part is to be realistic about what you're going to do. When it comes to the organization management, you're going to define your roles, okay? And regardless of how many people you have to be realistic. There are some rules and sometimes somebody has to take care of them. When you're writing down, if you're writing down and you say, okay, I have to do sales. And if you think you're not good in sales, maybe that's a good part of your business plan, because you're going to learn something about your idea or the challenge about your business plan. Now you're going to, okay, I'm not maybe good at sales, but I'm the only one who's going to do the sales here. So it's okay writing down that on your business plan. But remember, maybe the first thing you have to do is to find somebody as a partner or colleagues or the team player, or hire somebody to help you with the sales part of your business plan. So it's very, very important to be realistic about your skills you have, the ability you have, and going to help you to understand in which section you should grow maybe as soon as possible, or maybe do some development or change as soon as possible. So be realistic about that, because you're going to address the core of your business when it comes to the operation perspective. You're going to be talking about the people who's going to run your business, people are going to make things happen inside the organization, or even the one person or the couple or a team of 10, doesn't matter. Be realistic about the rules, be realistic about the players inside the organization, because you have a very clear, crystal clear picture about your business from inside, because this is the only place in the business world you have to have a very 100% clear vision about it. You have to be clear about everything inside a business. This is your home, this is your territory, this is your environment. You have to know it.
Okay, sounds good. And you know, that takes me to a question about couples, right? So a lot of our clients as well at ISS of BC who want to start businesses want to do it with their partner, right? Their life partner. And you talked about being realistic. How can couples be really realistic when they think about planning a business together?
It is a very sensitive subject, to be honest, and even addressing that is very sensitive. So I'll put it this way. So there is no formal business agreement in place for majority of the married business partners. So in Canada, so you just start the business together, and that could be a problem later if they decided to, for example, divorce or separate it, or because you're going to make something happen. You're going to make something from zero, and after years, if marriage is a partnership and you decided to end that partnership, then you have to talk about the other partnership you have. And it's going to be challenging. There are some solutions, some are for asking for the buyout or separate the things like that. But it's always challenging. So that's why it's much better if from beginning you have a formal business agreement somehow in place. It's okay, you couple, you married, you're sharing everything, and even for the marriage, maybe you sign the documents to show you're married, right? See it as that way. See it as like a signing document. You are partners. It's not going to change anything. When you sign it for marriage, you sign it to show your partners. You're going to live together. You are married, and so just go and follow the same steps for creative business. Sign the formal business agreement about your partnership, and maybe later if you, hopefully not, but if you face a problem like that, maybe going to help you. And talk to the people with the experience, maybe talk to the lawyer. I help you.
I guess this is the section though that really helps a lot of couples to face the reality that they are creating something new together, and they need to kind of think about who's going to take care of which role, right? And in the event that there's a problem in the future, like how will they handle it and address it in a fair manner? So
that's true.
So this is a good opportunity for that. All right. And are you going to share a sample with us from the Business Development Bank of Canada again?
Yes. If you look at the sample page 12 and 14, it shows our operation plan and people. These two sections basically going to describe, the people section going to describe the organization management, who's inside of the team, is going to define the team, the main players inside the team, and the operation plan part is going to explain how they're going to operate, to people in the operations part going to operate the plan of the business and going to produce that product for the clients. So this section are a very good example of how to address it in operation and from the people side of the business plan, and how it's important to highlight the elements of the key players or the technology those people have or should have to use it to develop that operation part of your business plan. So page 12 and 14 are good examples for this part of the business plans.
Okay, thank you so much for sharing that. Now that you've finished this video, you can start on assignment 2. And we want you to start writing your business plan now. You've finished the lean business plan. Now we're going to the full one. So using the ideas you've learned in this video, start writing your business description, market analysis, and organization management. Use the research that you've done so far to help you to provide the details you need. Make sure you add your mission, vision, and values, even if you aren't completely sure about them at this point. You can always update them. This is the end of part 2 of Build a Business Plan. Please join us for part 3 next.